Hello, everybody. Helen Lu here from the Healing Place Energy School. I want to welcome you. For those people who don't know who I am a certified reflexologist, certified energy medicine practitioner, and I'm also the owner of the Healing Place in Medfield, Massachusetts. And I've also authored two books. See it right there? Know Your Chakras, Introduction to Energy Medicine, and Foot Reflexology to promote relaxation. Well, thankfully, there is no storm tonight. So I'm able to have this broadcast at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as I promised. For those people who have questions, please put them in the box, and I'm going to answer them as I go along. Today, I was thinking, what should I do as a live demonstration? Well, there's a lot of worries going on because of the coronavirus. Everybody is really quite worried. And so I decided I'm going to show people what they can do to build their immune system through hand reflexology to strengthen what you have. But I also want to mention reflexology is a healing tool. It's an ancient one. It's been around for 5,000 years. And I'm just so appreciative, and I'm still amazed what it can do. I've been a professional reflexologist since 2006, which is a really long time. And quick question, herbs to get to new coronavirus. Well, we could talk a little bit about that, but I am not an herbal specialist. I know what I do to promote my health through the herbs I take. But let me jump in, continue, because otherwise I'm going to lose my train of thought. So I'm going to come back and answer questions shortly. So reflexology has been around for 5,000 years. And basically what it's used for is to support health. It can't ever come out and say, hey, guess what reflexology could do? It could cure your illness, blah, 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 blah. It is not true. And why is that the case? If you have a crappy foundation, I would swear, but I'm trying not to. If you don't take care of yourself, if you eat the wrong foods, you eat too much meat, sugar, alcohol, dairy, and grains, just bad grains. And if you rock and roll all night and you never let your body rest, guess what? No matter how much reflexology you're going to do on yourself, it isn't going to work. Sorry, bud. So I'm being very, very honest with you. But for those people to abide by some rules to take care of this, good diet, move your body, eat the right foods, reflexology is going to support their health. And I think I've given like 13,000 sessions since 2006. And I'm still amazed, totally amazed what it could still do today. And so I want to share what I'm going to do with you today. I'm not going to come out and say, this is going to cure your coronavirus, even though I wish I can, but it can't. Because again, if you are doing everything, if you're doing things that is going to hurt you, what reflexology will do is maximize whatever body functions that's going on. So you got to really be good to yourself by doing all the right things. All right, so that gives you an idea what reflexology will do and what it won't do. Excuse me, I don't want us to go black because that would get a little ugly and all of a sudden everything shuts down. So here's my trusty reflexology map. I have a lovely, my printer's not doing very good things for me, so it's producing in black and white. But you know what? It still says what it needs to say. We're going to focus, first of all, your immune system. 80% of your immune system is in your gut, your small intestines, if you want to be the truth. And if you have a lot of yeast issue, you're really battling, I'm going to swear here, shit against the tide. Because if you have too much of the yeast, you're going to have a really bad imbalance. That comes from, unfortunately, your diet is become too acidy, especially if you like your meat, your alcohol, your dairy, and your grains. And you know who you are, especially if you're addicted to grains. Because I have clients, as soon as they tell me what goes on with their health, I pretty much know what they eat or what's their go-to foods. Yes, everything counts, from what you eat to taking care of your physical health. So 80%, because if you don't have producing the right mucus in your gut, in your stomach, in your gut, your chest, you don't have the mucus to trap pathogens, especially if your body is too acidy. So it's the same thing like up in your nose. If you have a really dry nose, your nose is not producing healthy mucus. So instead of the mucus trapping pathogens, guess what? It's like a freeway right there, and all of a sudden it's invading your body. So once it gets into your body, it lands in your stomach usually. And the stomach, if you don't have the correct acid, the hydrochloric acid to kill the pathogens, it makes its way down into the small intestines. And then all of a sudden there's a party going on down below. And you're working really hard to override what's going on. But it's an overall package. So if people come to me and say, Helen, can reflexology fix this? I said, it's a tool. That's all it is. It's a tool in your health kit bag. Get that? All right. Does everyone understand that? All right. Thymus, liver, spleen. All right. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to focus. Here's my trusty map. We're going to focus from underneath the fingers. This is your respiratory. We talked about this the last time. And then underneath here, this is your stomach. And on the right side of your hand, that's your liver. On the left is the spleen. And then from here to here, this is your small intestine. And then just imagine your elimination is right about here. So on your hands, I'm going to show you what to do on the hands. All right, here we go. I'm going to put the big S here. And that's for stomach. It's not for anything else. Since this is my left hand, this is my spleen. Right about here begins your small, see, lots of S's, and large intestines. And elimination is on the right hand. But since I'm a righty, and I'm going to show you the demonstration on my left hand. And then once you do it on your left hand, you're going to come back and do it on your left hand. Because remember, your intestines goes from north to south. Is that right? No, east to west. Sorry, east to west. So east to west, right here. So you want to address both of your hands and do the elimination. And then once you're done, drink tons and tons of water. Because more times than not, most of us don't drink enough fluids. So you're not only not pushing your food along, but this is where it gets stuck in the little crevices in your small intestines. So it's really key. And you might think, how much water? If you can, half your weight in ounces. So if you're a 100-pound person, if you could drink as close to 50 ounces a day, and it has to be room temperature. None of that ice crap. Ice, why? You do not want to ever lower your body temperature. And the reason why you don't want to do that is because your body has to work that much harder to bring the body temperature back up so it can digest. Because if you lower your ability to digest, your body has to work twice as hard to get it back to where it used to be. So do you want everyone understand that? All right. So here, you're going to use your finger or your thumb, and you're going to do. Usually I'm going to turn around and show you. This is how I would do it if my hand is facing me. So you take your thumb and you're going to walk across, and you're using the tip of your thumb like this, not the pads. You want to use the tip, because this is where you're going to dig in every single reflex point. And obviously your nail got to be short, because there's nothing worse than having your nails dig into your hands, unless that doesn't bother you. But it will bother somebody else if you do this tip on them. So come this way, and you want to walk across like this. Everyone see this? See how deep I'm going? My nail is turning white. And how often to do this? You're going to do this at least repeat going across, I would say 4 to 5 times this whole area. And if you have even more time, spend a minute on each hand. And you could do this reflex technique every single day. And so this is something that's really good for helping people to balance the energy in your stomach, your small intestine, and your large. But remember, you still got to do your part by eating the right foods and drinking and getting enough rest, moving your body, because you want to be an active machine versus a stagnant, just sit on the sofa and then you wonder why you feel like crap, Get my drift? So you're going to come on this hand and then go onto your left hand. But since I started on my left, I'm going to come back this way and you're going to push. And remember, the smaller you can make the increment, the better it is for you. All right, so that gives you an idea on how to support your digestive, your stomach, your liver, and your spleen, your large, your small intestine, and out through the colon. Because if you don't have healthy bowel movements, what's a healthy bowel movement? I call it productive bowel movements. All of those toxins are living inside of you, and heaven forbid it gets reabsorbed back into your body. And that will cause you more problems in the end. So I'm hoping this tip has been very good for you. And another last thing I want to show you, work on your spine. This is really key. Your spine is on the outer edge of your thumb, tailbone here to the tip of your head. And the reason why you want to focus on your spine, your spine has 22 sets of nerve endings that it's attached to the spine to all of your major organs and glands. By stimulating go slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae. And how do you know if you're doing vertebrae by vertebrae? It's just practice, because eventually some people actually could feel it on their back where you're pressing on your hand. And you want to walk all the way up to just about, I would say, to the tip of your thumbs. And once you're done there, you come back and work on your other thumb. All right, does that sound okay? So let me answer some questions right now. Feel free to ask me when I'm chance. Okay, quick question. Herbs. What I do for me, I do elderberry syrup. I still do that every single day. I do take an herbal remedy that has mushrooms in it. The mushroom will help support your respiratory. So I do shiitake mushrooms. I eat a lot of fresh mushrooms and the supplements. So I find, because I also have asthma, I have to be very, very careful in this pandemic that's going on, because if it hits me in the lungs, man, I'm going to be out of action for a really long time. Okay, so that's my personal regimen. So you got to find what's good for you. Some people take zinc. Some people take oregano oil. I was doing oregano oil, but every time I burp, I say, oh my gosh, there's that oregano taste again. So it's not for me, but so that's something you have to try. Secondly, I'm missing you. Hope you are safe. Oh, thank you, Sonny. I am safe. I've been working very hard from home to develop classes on my Healing Place Energy School. And one of the things that, before I forget, I can't even give myself a plug because I can't always remember my own promotions. I have a brand new course, is how to manage stress and anxiety with mindfulness. At this point, who isn't stressed? Let's face it, everyone is stressed. And I developed this 5-part class series on how to manage stress. So basically, I talk about how stress affects your energy flow, and all of a sudden you feel like the energy is stagnant and dense. And then I talk about mindfulness. What do you need to be? How do you become mindful? And just by being, and I give a whole huge list of mindfulness. And everything you do and say, you need to be mindful, because a lot of times we say things so automatically. We basically like have diarrhea of the mouth. We're saying things that we don't even know we're saying it until someone says to you, really? Do you really want to say that? Then you realize you slipped up. The third lesson I'm teaching is your self-care prescription. What you need to do every day to contain the package, right? And have a nice, tidy package. Lesson number 4 is a step-by-step hand reflexology to release stress and anxiety. And then on top of it, I wrote a manual to accompany that lesson so you could see it step by step. And then lesson number 5 is the healing meditation to release stress. So instead of worrying, why not bring the abundance to you? Abundance could mean so many things, not necessarily money. Like my abundance is about a peace of mind and just feeling happy and content with myself. That's my abundance. So the special that I have normally is a $25 monthly membership. So I'm offering a 1-month membership for $10. So you get this 5-part series and also other reflexology classes, chakra balancing, how to read and feel energy. What do you do when you start to feel negative energy and all of a sudden you're going, I need to walk away? And mindfulness. I love teaching. I think everyone probably has a pretty good idea that I do. So I'm so glad I remember to give myself a plug. All right. So someone mentioned Spanish black radish. So airborne and zinc. Zinc is very important. Airborne, that's like a big time vitamin C. So I've been eating a lot of my vitamin C by eating oranges, lots of citrus fruits. So I've been trying to bump that up. Then I showed everyone how to work on their thymus, spleen, and liver balance. So remember, everything is pretty much in the stomach area, which is the 3rd chakra. The 3rd chakra is about self-esteem and control. I mean, that's a whole nother class I could teach in itself on how your health is related to your emotions. Because if you understand one and the other, then your emotions will no longer own you. Let me take a sip here. All right. Is reflexology good for heart patients and also diabetics? Heart patients, you have to really be careful. Reflexology addresses every body system. So there's 10. We'll see how good I am at reciting most of them. So there's your respiratory, your brain health, your heart health, elimination, reproductive, your blood, your circulation, your lymphatics. So what happens a lot of times with people with heart conditions, there's too much circulation going through the body. Unless you are a certified reflexologist that have had a lot of years of experience, I would not suggest that to anyone, to do that to anyone. And also with pregnant women, because all you have to do is hit the wrong spot. Even though reflexology claims all it's for is to relax the body, but that from my personal experience, that is not true. I'll tell you, it's basically like putting the puzzle back together, the pieces, because all of a sudden your brain starts to recognize where the energy imbalances are. And literally your brain starts to send messages because all the messages come up through the peripheral nerves, up into the central nervous system, up into the brain. And the brain will end up saying, oh my gosh, what the heck is going on down there? And literally will send thousands of messages for self-correction. What reflexology will not do, if there's a part of the body that's dead, it's dead. But if there's a little bit of function left, your brain will recognize it and up the energy to that organ and gland. I hope that answers your question. For diabetics, yes, you could really work the pancreas, for those people who are familiar with all the points in the hands and feet. Work the pancreas, but don't go crazy and spend an hour on it. Just do, with reflexology, a little bit is good. Too much is overkill, all right? It's like that chocolate cake. A slice is good, but don't give me the whole cake, all right? Okay, all right. Let's say neem leaf capsule to boost immunity. Neem, Neem leaf capsule to boost immunity. That's good to know. What do the tender spots mean? The way I interpret tender spots, your brain recognizes where the energy imbalances are. So if you have a tender spot, stay at that spot until your brain says, oh, oh, what's going on? And then all of a sudden the brain, the body is working hard to rebalance the energy in that particular part of the body. So it's trying to self-correct. So stay there, repeat it a couple of times, and then next time you come back to it, work on that area again. And once the pain has subsided, then you know that the brain got it. It knows what to do, all right? But again, reflexology is just a tool. If you go around abusing yourself by eat stupid things, especially if you have a sweet tooth, if you're into the alcohol, the leisure drug, well, I'm old. I don't do leisure drugs. So, to me, this is my reality. So I don't do things to superficially relax myself. I go out and I walk. I have my puppies. All I do is walk if I'm not working. All right. So be proactive with your health. Okay. Let's see what Kim. Hi, Kim. Love your channel. I know, Kim, I try to be in touch with you. So when this is going to come see you, if you can you clarify two different points on the hips? Hips. If you want to do hips, the hips are right about here. It is on the outside of your hand. It will be pretty much your ankles, the outside of your ankle, which is called the medial side, if you want to start to get into, technical terms. And you want to focus on the hips on both sides. It's on the outer edge here. So what you could do, okay, here we go. We're going to do some cheat. We're not doing thumb walking. Okay, you could take a little lotion, put a little bit on this side here. This is when I do this on myself, I use my knuckle. I'm not particularly nice to myself because if you were a client, I'd be nicer to you than I am for me. So I'm going to get in and I'm going to dig. See, so basically what I'm doing is, can you see how deep I'm going? So I'm going around and around. And if it hurts, then, well, because you're applying pressure, say, I could feel this is where the lower part of my hip is right here. You should feel this bony point right about here. It's a ball right here. And then you're going to repeat on the other side. And again, whatever protocol you decide to do, after you're done, go get water. That's the reason why I wrote my book. Here, I'm going to go grab this. I wish I was better promoting myself, but I'm not. Okay. Can you see this? Of course, it's backwards. Foot reflexology to promote relaxation. I have a whole bunch of cool techniques in here. I talk about what stress does to the body. Plus, I go into a whole bunch of little graphs. And basically, by learning to understand what's going on in your body, this is really key because a lot of times our emotions get trapped in our body. And because the way most of us are raised, we're taught to ignore our emotions. And I've talked about that in my Know Your Chakra book. People think that these emotions go away. Guess what? They never do. So depending on how many times you are revisiting the same experience, that energy gets stuck on a cellular level. And for you to start to become conscious of your thinking and thoughts, you're gonna have to come back and look at yourself. I'm sorry, that's the only way you can address and release trapped energy, because more times than not, trapped energy is what is causing the pains. Because one of the things, as I teach my Reiki students, I haven't taught Reiki in person in a long time because I haven't had time. There's always something. We all have defective DNA. Everybody does. We have a weak DNA somewhere. And if you really think about it, what activates the weakness? This is really key because usually it's an emotional thing. Something is going on in your life. And all of a sudden your body is going into a crisis mode because it does not know what to do. So what happens is that energy gets trapped. So if you notice you have pain a lot of times in your back, your back energy is about your will. What are you trying to do to force the situation? I talk about this a lot in my book, And I even have this whole 9-part class series on Know Your Chakras on my school site to teach people, because if you don't know what is running in you, there's no way for you to correct it. As simple as that, unless you're willing to pop the pills. And I'm not saying popping pills is wrong, but popping pills has its place like anything and everything else. I hope that makes sense. So you got to think about what activates this emotion. Every time I catch a cold, which is very rare, first thing I think about, what is it in my heart that I'm shutting down? Because the kind of work that I do is very intimate. I work with people one-on-one. I give a lot of myself, like I give a lot to myself right now during this broadcast. And sometimes it takes a lot out of my heart. So after I'm done, I'm going to be probably meditating to replenish this energy. Don't just walk away thinking that you're going to be okay. This is part of self-care, which I mentioned in my stress and anxiety course. Everything is about self-care, because again, if you don't take care of yourself, how the heck are you going to take care of anybody else? And I know that makes sense. You got to take care of home before you could give. Simple as that. All right. Okay. You know what? If you get my book is a damn good book, only because I wrote it from my heart and from my personal experience of 13,000 sessions. So there's a lot of observations. And Kim says, I've been combining reflexology with therapy. Very important. Yes, very true. There is no one-ended, I don't care what it is, traditional therapy, alternative therapy, you need to combine it. So you got to make your own sushi roll, what's right for you. So if someone came to me and said, Helen, is this the end all? First I say, no, it's not. You still got to do your part at home and find the right life-work balance. Once we go back to work, find the right life-work balance, because you need to serve yourself. All right, honey buns. Any other question? How can I help myself to lose weight? Love your teaching. Oh, thank you. How can you help to? Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about the second chakra, which is right underneath the belly button. The second chakra is about emotions, not the heart. The heart chakra is about love that you have for others, but it's also the love you have for yourself. The second chakra is, have you really looked at your emotions? A lot of times when we gain a lot of weight, think about what you are hiding from, what you're not willing to confront, because, life is hard. Life is really, really hard. And there are times even I want to shut down. I really do. And this pandemic of the news is bothering me too. And I'm very much of an empath and I'm very sensitive. So when I've had too much of the world, it's time for me to become a recluse. So after I finish this broadcast, you're going to see me go into recluse mode for at least the next hour or so I could spend time to replenish myself. So think about, losing weight. What is it that you really want in life that you can't get? That's third chakra, that's fourth chakra, that's fifth chakra, what you can't say. And the thing is, we all know what to do for ourselves, but how many times do we actually follow through? Think about it, because people think, well, it's a lot of work. Well, suffering is also a lot of work too. And I think you agree with that. And especially if you suffer from year in and year out, you have to decide. You're the only one who set your own boundary. Enough is enough. And you may have to come to a point you hurt other people's feelings, because if you don't put that air mask on you first. Here's a good question I want to ask. I always ask clients, especially the ones who are going through a lot of health issues, where are you on your whole list of things? Family, work, all the things that are important to you. Where do you list on that list? Are you on the top of the list, the middle of the list? And I pray you're not on the bottom of that list. If you're on that bottom of the list, it is really time to re-examine your life. Okay? I know that makes sense. If you would like me, I'm going to wrap up only because I got to go do my cocooning thing now. If you would like me to do another live chat, just put it in a box and I will put a list of all the things that we talked about today. Take advantage of my 5-part class. Not only that, you're going to have a huge selection. I have probably 30, 40 classes. I don't even know. I teach all the time. I can't even keep track of me half the time. And go in. I think it's a damn good school. It's simple and easy. The way I'm talking to you is exactly the same way as I teach. And a lot of the classes have accompanying homework because I'm a pain in the ass, because I need everyone to, in order for true transformation to happen, you got to be conscious. If you're skimming through things, guess what? It's like taking a real, it's not, how can I say this delicately? It's like being constipated and you're trying to push it out and you're pretending it's not a problem. So that's the reason why the homework with my work that I do. And then I also have accompanying manuals for a lot of the classes too. So I put a lot of my heart into this. So anyways, if everything sounds really good for you, let me know if you'd like me to do another live chat. I'll try to do one next week. I've been doing a lot of live podcasts on Facebook Live. I've been interviewing a whole bunch of healers about different aspects of healing. So that's it. This is Helen Chinlu from the Healing Place Energy School. I need to stop talking. I'm becoming an old lady and over talk. Bye-bye, everybody. Talk to you soon. Be well.